congratulations on the hybrid kickoff getting passed. Now, obviously, a lot of work went into this, and the XFL guy, Sam Schwartzstein's not happy that he's not getting credit for it all. Where I know a lot of special teams coaches probably say, buddy, you took a kickoff practice drill and put it on the play. But nonetheless, we got to a point where the kickoff is seemingly being saved. The only change from the last time we talked, seemingly, is that a touchback just kicked in the end zone. Instead of being at the 35, which is pretty punitive, is now moved to the 30. I immediately responded with, guys are still just going to choose to kick it in the end zone, give the ball at the 30, but maybe not everybody. What are your thoughts on what got passed, and how do you feel about where the rule sits now versus where it might be a year from now?
First thing I got to say is your graphic, this show's graphic about the kickoff is the best graphic I have ever seen.
That baby dirty!
That graph, I mean, I can't tell you how many compliments people have gotten, or I've gotten, on your graphic. They're like,
no, you put it together, you and Dirty.
No, I didn't. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, listen, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate your support for special teams.
Come on.
We talked about that last time, but let's address that touchback thing real quick. You know, there was a few head coaches that thought the 35-yard line was too punitive. And if there was a situation in the game, maybe you're up by a couple scores, or there's a game where you're lacking injuries and you don't have your core guys, there was the ability to kick the ball in the end zone for a touchback. That was the thought process.
Got it. Don't kill us, because we can't.
Don't kill. And this is a 1 year. So if we go through the first year and maybe the start drive isn't what we thought, the return percentage isn't what we thought, this is a starting point. We can always adjust that. And so that was a little bit of a concession. All good. I think it probably knocks off about 20%, 25% of the returns.
Okay, so we're going to get more returns, though. We're still going to get more returns, you think?
Still much better than what we currently have.
Hey, okay.
Hey,
we did good, right?
Win.
So, I mean, if we had a 21% return rate last year, if this knocks off 20, 25%, I still think we'll be 50, 60%. And, you know, we talked about this. There was 2,000 non-plays last year between the
13
touchbacks.
in the Super Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, between the touchbacks and the fair catches, there was 2,062 non-plays. If we can get 50%, we're going to bring another 1,000 plays back in. So it's still, you know, to me, it's still a big win.
Good for the game. Good for the game.
Oh, yeah.
Good for special teamers. Good for special teams coordinators. Have you guys already started scheming? You already started scheming how you're going to abuse these rules?
Well, there's always those guys that want to say, okay, how can I get my way around these rules? You know, no, you guys, special teams coaches.
Yeah, literally. That's all special teams coordinators are trying to do.
How can I screw the other guy? All right,
yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, listen, I think that's going to be one of the really cool things about it is to see how everyone plays it. Having two returners back, the ability to have reverses and throwbacks. I heard you say that one time. I saw the clip you guys showed earlier, the reverse for the touchdown. Here it comes. This is going to be my first. The 31 other coordinators, this is my first return right
Nobody
here.
else is allowed to use this. As we wrap up here on ESPN and continue on YouTube and ESPN Plus, we can't thank you enough. We'll see you tomorrow. We're off on ESPN. We're live on YouTube and ESPN Plus. Okay? So watch your mouth.
Yep.
Okay? Don't let any of those Jersey F words fly.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not allowed
Never a Jersey guy.
Never. No, never. But there is a lot of creativity, I think. There's a lot of options in this thing.
I agree. And that was one of our main focuses. And again, I'm going to give a big shout out to Big Sam, because Sam got a lot of things right here with the XFL. I just think there was a lot of things, and he might have been handcuffed. But like the 10 guys flat across on one line in the return team, not a good idea. There's got to be different levels so you can have some creativity for scheme.
We heard potentially tinkering to get 3 people back maybe.
And there was still some conversation about it in the room this week, yesterday. And so just the thought process was, again, year one, let's have 7-2-2. If there's not a lot of injury data that those 2 guys that are off are getting injured more than the others, then there's the ability to move guys back.
Okay, you might be like this all the time. I'm not around you today, although I have watched your come up in this entire thing. I didn't see you at Rhode Island, but
The playing days?
I didn't see you at Rhode Island, but you know, Rutgers, Dolphins, down with the Saints. Feels like you've been very passionate about this.
Yeah.
And congrats on getting it passed.
Yeah.
But also,
Appreciate that.
And I don't think this can get echoed enough. We were potentially going to lose the kickoff, right, if we didn't find something. And that is why I think all the special teams coordinators kind of came together and why you were so passionate about this.
No question. I mean, you look at the play, and I said this earlier today, this was a dying play. And we feel like we've pumped life into it, revived this play. We're going to bring this thing back. I think there's a lot of things and factors about this play that maybe the fans aren't thinking about. You might see some of your favorite players back there as returners that maybe in the old model people were afraid to put out there. You know, I had the Dolphins reporter ask me today, do you think they'll use Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert?
Fourth quarter, why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
and
AB old school.
Well, because
AB used to just be a night. I mean,
you're kicking it through. You see those two
30-yard line. You're taking
see
it.
you.
Can they bring it out of the end zone?
Yes. So every ball's got to be downed. So if the ball's in the end zone, you can bring it out. Okay. So you actually might see, even though with the touchbacks at the 30, you might see a few more balls getting brought out of the end zone that maybe at the 35 that you didn't. So if a team is confident in their return and they think their opponent maybe not as great in coverage, you may see a few more balls brought out of the end.
How do you feel about your teamers? You guys got guys down there?
Listen, the Saints have always done a great job. I'm not just saying that. I mean, the Saints have always done a great job with roster construction. We've always done a good. I thought there's always been core teamers.
Yeah, there's been some teams, that just paid at the very top and then said, "Hey, punter and kicker, figure it out." I've seen a couple of those teams operate in the past.
Oh, yeah.
It is much different whenever a GM will invest some money in a backup linebacker, backup tight end, backup running back that can maybe run a little bit. That's a huge deal.
Well, think about this. So, like the last few years, there's been games where if you're going to Denver, for example, and they're going to kick touchbacks and you're going to kick touchbacks, why do you need player 47, 48 to be special teamers? You didn't.
You can get a third quarterback if you need to, or a running back, another weapon.
Well, and the offensive coach said, we need this guy. Well, now all of a sudden, those guys are going to play 12, 13, 14 core players.
We're saving jobs.
Yeah, go.
You're saving jobs.
If you're a core player, and that's why the PA likes it. The PA loves this because it's more plays for them. It's more plays, it's more stats. Returners more valuable, kicker, core players.
AJ has a question for you.
How much thought have you put into, like, say, your kickoff cover team? Mm-hmm. Do you just put burners on there? They're going to run by those guys because you are so close? Do you put, how do you mix and match the body type?
And kickers can't go past the 50?
The kicker can't go past the 50 until the ball is touched.
Got it.
So
See, like I saw Reed already say, "Put me in."
You need the kicker to be a tackler.
Yeah, well,
right?
Listen, if you watch all the XFL plays and the kicker's hitting the ball, and if he hits a high time ball, like your old days, he's freaking flying down. He's a free hitter.
Yes.
We didn't want that. Well,
why not?
Why not?
Ridiculous.
Because you guys got a small kicker.
You got
because you got a groupie. Not that he's not a dog
Blake,
groupie.
this has nothing to do with you, Blake. It's got nothing to do with you.
Oh, okay. The entire NFL has got to get changed because Blake is not a tackler, even though he would.
No. There was actually a player. It was a player health thing. It was a player safety thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, and how about this? A couple of the owners actually asked in the meetings, hey, the kicker's not a guy that's used to making tackles. How often is this guy? He's going to be much more involved. That question came up.
And what did you say?
Yeah. Yes, he is going to be more involved.
So were you worried the kicker was going to hurt people or people were going to hurt the kicker?
Bingo. It's like if you see me fighting a bear.
Both. Well, and go back. And I want to go back to. What?
That's so funny. Are we having a good time here?
I'm having a great time. Am I a clown? Do I amuse you?
Do I make you laugh?
Funny how? So, I mean, come on, Jersey. I got to get the good fellas.
Yeah, of course. Kickers tackling is good, though, for this particular thing because they're the second line.
Second level defense.
Literally, because normally you got guys like, all right, we'll go, ones will stick back, so at least you have like different layers. Feels like, and I assume you'll still have guys drift in and be safeties or whatever.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's easier to get through the main line.
Run in an alley.
Feels like it, right?
Safety. And to go back to AJ's point, I actually think it's going to be a little bit like hockey in terms of matching up to your opponent. So if I'm playing the Dallas Cowboys and playing Bones and he has all big guys and I'm game planning, my kick return guys might be a little bit different body types that week. If I'm playing a different team, I'm playing the Baltimore Ravens and they have all fast guys, because we don't have that running start and I'm not worried about guys getting blown up, I'm going to kind of try to match up body types. So I think you're going to see some pretty cool things with the matchup.
Can you cross? Is there any rules on can you change on the run?
Twist.
Once you run, can you twist and run all the loops?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
So once the ball hits and touches, you can run wherever you want. So I think there will be a little bit of twist. And that's how the XFL teams got guys through the line and maybe got some free hitters. There were some, and that's why it was important for us from the setup zone to have a second level to it. So you can have a kind of a lead and trail player, if you will.
Hey, Sam Schwartzy, good job.
Hey, baby,
Sam, hey.
Hi, baby, Sam. He did, once again, now, if he never did it, do we ever know? So shout out to Sam.
I've agreed.
But that has been a kickoff drill for a long time right there, saving legs.
That's the way kickoff was practiced
all the time, since the beginning of time. So it is like we understand that it was put into the game with this particular time, which is smart. It ends up being the right answer.
I don't know if we can pause that right there.
Pause.
Go back to the top of the play where you had all 10 guys across on the 30-yard line.
Yeah.
And that's why we're going to have a couple guys off the line back there where would be the 26-yard line here, but we're going to move it up 5. And that's why that creates the second levels. And there's another returner back, so it allows you for more scheme. It's going to look more like a quote-unquote football play than maybe a schoolyard, go kick it off and everybody go get the guy with the ball.
Roger Goodell hated this, loved this. He had to be sold on it?
Full support.
From the beginning?
From the beginning.
Okay.
He actually, they had come to us last year. They came to Bones, myself, and a few other coaches, and wanted us to maybe look at some alternatives last year. And quite frankly, we weren't ready, and that's why the fair catch kind of came to be last year. But no one wanted that.
No. Get it out.
You should have seen the Colts.
No fair catch on this.
The Colts did one, and I was there in the suite that is now free. That's awesome news.
Shout out.
Well, it's not free, but
You get it.
you get it. There's a lot of other stuff that happens,
never
but
free.
what's business? You know.
Yeah. What is free?
What is
these
given
days?
up? What is not? Yeah, that's a whole convo. Not for today. Celebration.
Yeah,
today.
let's go. Let's go.
Celebration
Celebration.
today. Celebration today. But there was a fair catch, 15 yards in front of me, and I almost I'm no longer a Colts fan. We are not doing this. We cannot script.
Did you almost run out there?
I was disgusted. I literally was disgusted because it's like we're fair catching at the 7-yard line. You're telling me we can't put together a return that can get us to the 25 from the 7 if it's a bad kick? Like we're just kind of quitting on a play. So, I mean, I attacked Shane Steichen for 45 minutes at the combine about that. I'm like, hey, listen, you're awesome on offense. What you did this year was cool. I cannot be seeing fair catches on that. And he goes, why would we risk somebody getting hurt, a penalty? It was an option that kind of gave a safety blanket almost for every team. And you started seeing everybody start fair catching the kickoffs. And I don't think the NFL wanted that to be the case at all.
The cool thing about this rule is it's actually the exact opposite. So think about it. Last year, if you were the return team and you wanted to shut the play down, you fair catch it. Now, if you're the kickoff team and you want to make them return it, you put one in the landing zone. They can't fair catch it. They have to return it. The kickoff team does have the out. The kickoff team has the out of kicking the ball in the end zone. And
if your guy can.
If you can. If you can. But
are these guys kicking balls further than they've ever kicked them before?
100%.
Why? What's happening? I questioned myself last night on the plane. I'm like, I don't know what I was doing wrong. I thought I had a pretty strong leg. I thought I could never touch how far these guys are murdering footballs right now.
Honestly, my opinion is as the game has evolved, I think a lot of these younger guys have started place kicking earlier in their lives where
focusing on it.
Correct. Where we were growing up, it was a soccer kid that became right?
Bingo.
That's what it was. Where now I think you have guys that are transitioning into American football a lot sooner. And so that's why I think they're just getting better. It's just repetition.
Bucker put one like 6 rows deep.
Sure. Easily.
Well, the
Bass did one too.
As somebody mentioned today, there was 13 touchbacks in the Super Bowl. Not only that, 12 of the 13 landed out of the end zone. They weren't even in play.
Yeah.
And so it's become.
Shout out Moody.
Yeah.
Hey,
shout out Moody.
Rookie.
I like that little rookie.
Rookie rough start and then finish on a positive.
Not easy to be a rookie kicker.
No.
Long. Lot of reps. Excited to see Blake next year. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Coach. I just had a scenario in my head, Bills, Patriots a couple years ago where it was 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Say there's a situation where it's like that, and neither team, neither kicker has any chance to get to the landing zone, which in this scenario, I believe, comes out to the 40. It's treated as if it's kicked out of bounds. Was that talked about if there is a game like that? We're just starting at the 40 every drive?
Can we move the kickoff up?
That game was actually referenced when the coaches had the conversation, should we kick the ball from the 35 or the 30? And Cam, who was at the Patriots, now with the Giants, he said he got on the Zoom call. I said, Riz, we had that game in Buffalo a couple years ago, and I'm not so sure if we were kicking from the 30. Now, 35, we got a much better chance to get it in there. 30, I'm not. So that was maybe one of the main reasons we started. We did not want one of those games late in the season where every drive
decided by
every drive starting on the 40. Now, if there's a wind going one way and then the other way, you can get it.
Competitive advantage.
Different. And you mentioned this to me, which I thought was a great point.
Thank you.
People are talking about. Well, you know better than most. The wind in your face is one thing. The wind at your back,
Tough.
It's going to be hard to land that. If you're trying to land it in the landing zone,
I only threw gas. I only had the fastball.
Mariano Rivera, one pitch.
Boom. Yeah. When I got to the NFL, I only had the gas.
I still have his hit chart from when we played Rutgers, West Virginia, his kickoff hit chart.
Yeah.
He's actually lying. He had three kicks. He had the fastball line drive to the right. He had the little looper, and then he had the squib kick.
Thank you. I hated all of them, except for the deep ball. But, boy.
But I did tell you hit one of the best punts ever. I said that last time. No, I can't say it again.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if that was my best one, to be honest. No, I'm sorry. I appreciate it.
Well, for the moment, it was huge.
For me, I celebrated probably pretty hard that night. Probably too hard, if I had to guess. And that's why I looked the way I looked.